I'm Jennifer Novak. I'm an environmental lawyer in California, and many of my clients are businesses or property owners who find themselves in a situation where there may be contamination at their site. And by that, I mean that at some point in the site's history, materials were stored or used that could have leaked into the soil or migrated down to groundwater, or there's a concern that the property has levels of chemical vapors coming from the ground that may be too high. One phrase that our clients hear about is the concept of a no further action letter. And the way that lawyers and consultants and real estate brokers talk about it, it sounds like a really big deal. And it is, but it's also a little confusing. So, what I wanted to do today is explain what a no further action letter is and what it isn't. So, let's start first with the basic concept. Let's say you own commercial or industrial property and you're contacted by a government agency that wants information about conditions on your site. Maybe it has a history of having operations that are susceptible to spills or use certain chemicals. Maybe there was sampling at the property next door and people now think your property is causing their problems. The usual course of action is that you will start looking into it to see if one, there is an environmental problem, and two, if there is, what's the source and how bad is it? Now, sometimes this process ends after the investigation. Sometimes it leads to a need to clean up the conditions. And whether you do this voluntarily or you're ordered to do it, at some point, the government will decide that you've done enough to satisfy its concerns. And they'll send you a letter telling you that you don't have to take further action. Here's where the confusion arises. A no further action letter isn't bulletproof. It doesn't mean that the property has no problems. All it means is that the government had a concern, they wanted you to take action, and you don't have to do anything more for now. See, we see people get confused that no further action means a property is free and clear of all legal problems and all environmental problems. And that's not the case. The same agency or others could still come back and ask for more work or investigation. You could still be sued by people who claim that they've been harmed by conditions at your property. And because the technology and science constantly evolves, you could be asked to go back and perform additional testing if there are new concerns with certain chemicals. But at the same time, no further action letters can be a good thing, to the point where some of our clients are willing to do extra investigation in the hopes of satisfying a government agency enough to get one. No further action letters provide some certainty to businesses and property owners. They help ease people's fears about the scope of legal liability and whether the property is going to require large amounts of money to investigate or clean up in the future. It means the property or business is in compliance with an agency's demands and not going to be penalized for being uncooperative. Now, more practically, they can make potential buyers feel more comfortable with a real estate purchase. So if you're in the position of needing to evaluate the value of a no further action letter, or you're wondering whether it would be worth the trouble to do the investigation to go get one, we've helped other people with these exact same questions. So we'd love to help you. Give us a call.